It's me in the flesh, Spanky, or Barnes, or Mike, or whoever you know me by. I've been called a lot of things, I guess, but yeah. Hey, just wanted to get on here and say hey to you. The reason I'm in this car, it looks weird, is because I'm out with my wife and she's doing some stuff, so I figured I'd take a moment. I want to say hey to all my Glazer buddies that I miss. All you guys, I miss having fun with you guys, working beside you, jacking around on the job, getting in trouble, but getting the work done. That was the important thing. Getting the work done, but having fun doing it. So yeah, I just miss you guys. But I guess I am going to, well, let me preface that by saying this. I know when I left work, I told a lot of you what I was going to do, that I was going to go and seek God. And if I wasn't changed in 3 months, then I would be back to work. Well, maybe from the outside a little bit, maybe you couldn't see any change with your physical eyes. But there was change. You can't spend any time with the Creator, your Creator, my Creator, without being changed by Him. So, yeah. So that's what I told a lot of you guys. I told you that, we grow up our whole lives. Well, some of us do, some of us don't. But we grow up at least hearing about God and hearing that there is a God and maybe believing in Him, maybe not. Maybe some of you are atheists. Some of you don't believe in any God at all. Some of you are agnostics, maybe that there's a higher power and He's out there somewhere, but, whatever. But, so that's what I said. I said, if there is a God, then I want to know. I mean, wouldn't you want to know if there is a God? And if there is a God, wouldn't you want to know? I know I did. If He's real? I mean, if there is a God, and He's the God of the Bible, and I've read some of the Bible, maybe you have too, or at least heard stories about it. But God talked to man in the Bible. God talked to man. So could it be possible that there is a God who created all this and that He wants a relationship with us? Or that He will or wants to communicate with us? I know maybe on movies it's like the select few. They get to hear God and then the rest have to listen to that person, what they got from God. And some of that's in the Bible like that. Moses, an example. The children of Israel were afraid to come near to God, so they wanted Moses to be their spokesperson. Well, I know you guys probably are a lot like me, at least in this sense. Sorry. I don't want to bring you down, but at least in this sense, that if there's a God and He talks to mankind, then I want Him to talk to me. I don't want to go through somebody else. I don't want no middleman. I want that communication with the man. So yeah, so that's the way I am, and I'm sure that's the way a lot of you are, that you don't want a middleman. If there's a God and He talks to human beings, let Him talk to me. So that's what I've been doing. So I'm going to do these little podcast things, whatever you want to call them, these little videos, post them on YouTube on my channel. And I'm going to talk about a simple, what I went through and what I'm still doing, but from day one, what I did in my approach to God, and my crying out to God, and my seeking God, and in my searching for God. So, I've been around God. I was raised in the Catholic Church, so I was taught to believe that there is a God. I wasn't taught to believe that you could have a relationship with him, but I was taught to believe that there was a God and he cared about me. He loved me. He sent his son to die for me. So what does that all mean? I want to know. I have a lot of questions. I'm sure you have a lot of questions, and you would love to get them answered. And I wanted my questions answered. And I think a lot of times that, I don't know, you've heard of people doing some soul searching, or just wanting answers and going to find them. But if we never put forth the effort to find the answers, to investigate, then I don't know that we'll ever get them. If we just sit back and today's another day, I just do what comes. I get up, I eat breakfast, I go to work, I come home, I veg in front of the TV, I eat dinner, I go to bed, I get up and do it all again. Well, I did that for a long time. And a lot of us do that. And I felt like I was stuck. I felt like, I don't know, that there was more, that I wasn't living my full potential. I mean, yeah, I wasn't the smartest cookie in the cookie jar, or I wasn't the greatest glazer out there. I tried to work hard and do what I could, but there was a lot of glazers way smarter than me. And I got the privilege to work with a lot of them, to work around a lot of them. And they taught me a lot of stuff, and they knew a lot more about it than I did. So I kind of worked under their leadership, their, I don't know what you want to call it, their tutelage, they took me under their wing. Let me just put it that way. So yeah, I mean, it's easy to feel confident, or to be a little more courageous when somebody's right there watching you and saying, hey, that's not how you do it. Oh, okay. And I was that easy. If I was doing something wrong, I wanted to know the right way to do it. And I tried to do that all the time. But anyway, that's how we are in our lives, I think, most of us. But it wasn't fulfilling. I mean, when we did a good job and finished a job, and maybe it was harder than normal, or bigger than normal, or whatever, we got done, we were proud. We look at that. That's what we did. We accomplished that. We can bring our kids by or whatever by and say, look, that's what we did. That's what we do. And there's a certain amount of appreciation. I don't know if that's not really the right word I'm looking for, but there's a certain amount of pride, I guess, that you can take in a job well done, that you had a hand in, that you participated in. But even that, for me, yeah, it was fun. It was somewhat fulfilling, but it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough for me. And I'm sure it's not enough for you guys, a lot of you, or some of you, or maybe you guys are good. I don't know. But like I said, if there's a God, and where I'm sitting right now, I truly believe that there is a God, there's a higher power, there is a God, And I do believe that he loves you. He loves me. He cares about you and me. He has a plan for our lives. And I wanted to know what it is. I want to know, and I'm still searching. Well, but I guess what this is to get back to what I'm going to do. I'm going to post every week on here every week for now. It may go to 2 or 3 times a week or whatever. But right now, starting out, it's once a week. And I'm going to go and tell you my journey in my search for God. Maybe you want to know it. Maybe you don't. I mean, you don't have to listen. But like somewhere between 7 and 15 minutes a day, I'm going to share what I've done to cry out to God, to search for him, to seek him, to go and find him, to look at some of the examples in the Bible where people found God and they actually had that relationship with God. And if that's true, then that's what I want. And maybe that's what you want. I mean, where does all this end? What happens when I come down to the end of my life in another 60 years? Actually, no. It's going to go longer than that. So I'm not going to put an end date on my life. But but yeah, we want to know. I want to know. And if you want to know, stay tuned. And listen, my journey, my walk, and I'll share it with you. I'll share you what I learned.